Hello and welcome to our on-demand demo series of our banking and treasury automation solution for Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O. In this video, we will demonstrate the module Vendor Payment Automation. This module is part of our standard TAS bundle, but can also be licensed separately. The Vendor Payment Automation module enables you to pay your vendors from within D365 F&O, with seamless and secure banking integrations to any bank globally. Now let's explore the module in Microsoft Dynamics. Using the standard D365 payment journal for creating payment proposals for the vendors. Go to the payment journal and create a new journal. Here, you will be able to create a payment proposal. You can select which date you would like to do this. You can select the minimum payment date, which is the date you would like to make payments from. In this case, I selected 9th February. You can select what records you would like to include by filtering. Here we're selecting all methods of payments that start with the prefix IHB. We can also select to create payments across legal entities. So, if you would like to do it for centralized payments, we can handle that as well. If we press OK here, we will be creating a payment proposal. This is the list of vendors that would be included, and you can see different currencies and different vendors. So we will create the payment journal lines. Now it will validate against each of these vendors if they have the correct vendor master data to make the payments to the vendor. If, for instance, there is a missing bank account number, you would get an error in D365. So, on the lines here, you would be able to see the status error, warning, or it will be blank, meaning there is no issue. Warnings can be ignored. If there is an error, you won't be able to send the payment file to the bank before you have resolved the issue. Again, if you are missing a bank account number or an IBAN number, which is required to execute the payment, the system will tell you. If you navigate to the exception, you will see details of what needs to be corrected in the master data in order to send the payment file successfully. In this case, we see there are no errors. Once you have corrected all your master data if there are any errors, you have the option to send the file to the bank immediately by clicking Send File Now. But you do have another option as well. If, for instance, you are using approval workflows inside of D365, this can be taken into account as well. If your company is leveraging an approval workflow, then the standard D365 vendor approval workflow on vendor disbursement journals may be used. If that is the case, then it would, instead of sending the payment file immediately, be submitting the payment file to the queue for approval, and once approved, the payment file would be sent to the bank. Alternatively, you can also click Send File Later. If this process is used, then you would have to manually send the payment file from the Treasury Automation Suite module itself at a later stage. If you use Send File Now, it will immediately create the file and send it off to the bank. For the purpose of this demonstration, we will use Send File Later, so that you can see what will happen to the payment file. So, as you can see in the bottom of the screen, it has now changed the status to Transfer. And if we go to the Treasury Automation Suite, you can navigate to Create and Send AP EFT files. Now you can see the system has created 3 new records at the top of this list. Based on the setup, the solution has automatically split the payment files into 3 separate payment files, according to which bank will effectively execute them. Again, this is done automatically based on the configuration in the system. If you click here, you can see that it's linked to a journal. And the method of payment, and you have your payment details here. You also have your file number and payment journal number, and here you can see the transactions within the payment file. In this case, we have 4 lines or 4 separate payments that will be executed by the bank. When you're done reviewing the details, you can send it to the bank by clicking Begin Processing, which will send the payment file to the bank for execution. If you had used Send File Now earlier in the process, all this would have been done immediately by the system itself, and you wouldn't have to go into the module to perform these tasks manually. You can also configure the system to either complete this process completely, either based on receiving an acknowledgement file back from the bank, or you can decide to end the process manually from the point where you click Begin Processing. In this demonstration, we will not be receiving an acknowledgement file from the bank, so we can see that it will immediately complete the process. When this payment process is completed, it will automatically be posted in the journal. You can in fact configure the solution to not post a journal automatically. In this demonstration, it is set to post automatically, which finalizes the process. The automated posting obviously gives you more automation, so this is also what we most often set up for our customers. If it is recommended, based on your bank's offerings, to configure the system to be receiving return files, also known as acknowledgement files or PSR files from the bank, and based on the information in that file, the system will want to update the payment journal with the correct status from the bank. The status could be either approved or rejected. Based on that, you would post a journal. Any lines with the status approved would be posted. If there are any payments that are rejected by the bank, then those lines will be moved to a new journal to be processed separately. In the inbound file from the bank, you will receive a reason code for why it was rejected, so that the issue can be resolved and the payment file can be sent to the bank again once it's corrected. Let's update this. When the payment process is completed successfully, then we can also configure the system to send payment advice via email to the vendor, informing them of the invoices that we are about to pay. Let's see if we have received an email with payment advice. We did. As you might have noticed, this is a payment advice template. You can have different templates which can be modified to however you would like them to appear. In this example, we have a PDF document in which we can see our payment advice and the vendor. You can see down here which invoices have been paid to the specific vendor. If you would like to, you can of course add your company's logo and other details. If, for whatever reason, the vendor did not receive the payment advice email, you can go to File Details, where you have the option to either print the remittance to get a PDF version, or you can simply resend the email, and there is an option to reverse your posted payment. The reversing of a posted payment is helpful if the funds are returned to your own bank account by the bank after the payment was otherwise confirmed to be processed by the bank. This can happen if the bank cannot locate the receiving bank account and therefore returns the funds back to you. With this clever reversal feature, what you would otherwise have to do manually is go to the vendor transaction, undo the settlement where you would post against that vendor account, up to the bank account, and afterwards settle the transactions against the original payment. Instead, with this feature, you can simply select one, all, or multiple transactions and simply click on Reverse Posted Payment, which will undo the settlement of your vendor invoices. It will settle the new transaction against the original payment on the vendor account and post it back to your bank account. Instead of doing this manually, you can do it with just one click. This is the end of the vendor payments automation process. Thank you for watching the demo. If you have any questions, you can reach out to our sales representative by calling +45 22 88 0000 or emailing us at hello@skgservices.eu.